I have to say, that whole scene with Lutz and Mine with her old outfit kind of was a gut punch. And it's really in the reactions. I love how it kind of opens up that whole situation there where she finds this old outfit and she's like excited about the fact that they kept it. And it's perfect for the situation because she doesn't want to get her other clothes dirty and she knows it's going to get dirty in there. So she puts on an outfit. It's a little bit tight, but it works. And she's finding it nostalgic. Like, oh, cool, my old outfit. This kind of reminds me of the good old days or whatever. Like, she's loving it. And then she goes in that room with Lutz and she's like, look, Lutz, remember this old outfit? And he trips. He goes, mine. No, wait. Rosamine. For a brief moment, he slips. And it's interesting how she says, it's nostalgic, isn't it? He responds, it's confusing. It's a different response here. She's finding it nostalgic, and he's finding it sort of troublesome in a way, I think. It's really, I think, this is sort of my conclusion I'm drawing here, and this might be completely off base here. Lutz, I think, is in a very horrible situation, obviously, because, just like everybody else, Mine has been taken from them. Mine was his childhood friend, and now she's the princess that he's working for. He can't have any sort of bond with her anymore. And he has trained himself, just like everybody else has had to do. He has trained himself to never see her as familiar ever again. To see her as Princess Rosamine. And so, yes, whenever he meets with her, it's always bow. Yes, princess. What can I do for you, princess? No longer thinking back to the days where he used to, run down the street with Mine. Not really run down the street with her because she's always sick back then. Used to hang out with her. Used to play around her. This is my childhood friend, and I have deemed her in my brain as dead. And now suddenly she's in front of me and she's wearing that outfit. It's mine again. She's back from the dead. No, wait, stop. I trained my brain. She's not supposed to be alive anymore. He had this moment of confusion because I left her behind, and now she's back in front of me. I think this was probably a very painful moment for him. The fact that he says confused, that spells pain for me. That feels pain for me. But anyways, that aside, and that's always sort of been a very interesting element about this entire story is really the element that everybody has to sort of see Mine as dead, but still have some sort of connection with her because they know that she's alive. They want to know that she's doing well. That has always been a fascinating part. And I think Lutz especially has always been interesting. And I think that was sort of one of the very early hooks for me in the series was that moment of Lutz realizing that that's not Mine anymore. Like he knows this is not the Mine that I grew up with. Now, this is a different person that has taken her body. That's always been a fascinating thing for me, but this sort of like adds another element to it. Really, and I never really thought about this, Lutz has lost Mine twice. He lost the original Mine because at some point he realized this isn't my Mine. Who are you? He lost the original Mine when he confirmed that she was gone, and that he's lost her again the moment that she went to nobility. The moment that she was adopted, he lost her again. She became Rosamine. I never realized it before. The gut punch moment. I hate it so much. These people. Again, I've always talked about the fact that Ascendance of Bookworm is a story about separation. It's a story about isolation. And that's always been the main core theme. Every time Mine gets comfortable, she gets ripped out of it. Gets comfortable, gets ripped out of it. Constantly, over and over and over again. But anyways, episode 16 of season 4. Really solid episode overall. Some really great moments in here. I think I really love this scene with Bridget. Obviously, yes. Bridget finally gets her outfit, got the shoulders exposed, immediately thinks about how it can be used by soldiers. Yo, man, there's like all this skin right here. They could easily attach a bunch of face stones. Hey, can I give this to all the other knights? Hey, yeah, let's get Daniel's opinion so we can find out if we can use it for all the other knights. And she's like, hold on a second, let me get Daniel in here. Brings Daniel in there, and yeah, he immediately is just floored. Like, the jaw just hits the floor. And Mine's like, hey, Daniel. Hey, wake up. What's your opinion? It's nice. You need to be more clear. Like, immediately Mine's knowing, like, this guy is just head over heels for Bridget. The moment that he sees her, just confess right now. Say that you love him. She even asked Bridget, like, hey, what do you think about Daniel? Yeah, he's a nice guy. I could see it right on his face that he was totally into this whole thing. I like it. It's like the two of them have acknowledged, like, they read each other like open books, but there's a problem. And I don't remember this ever being talked about before. I guess because it has a flashback, there was a scene, but I completely forgot there was a scene where they talked about sort of the mana compatibility of two individuals, which is very, very interesting. Which, yes, wouldn't be a very common thing amongst the commoners because, again, they don't have mana. But nobility, yes, this is sort of a concern, is the fact that you have to have a compatibility there. And so it seems like with Bridget and with Daniel, there's an incompatibility there. Daniel apparently doesn't have as much as Bridget. So it seems like once he, got this prayer from Mine, he has been boosting up. He has been improving, which is sort of an interesting thing. The fact that everybody that gets a prayer from her can see some sort of growth. That he has he at least has an open door there. Like, he has a possibility. If he can keep training, eventually he can get with Bridget. So that was a kind of an interesting thing there. Like, Demiel has to train in order to get Bridget's hand, but he only has a limited time because this girl's going to go out there with that dress on, and she's going to get some people's attentions. I wonder if he might... I mean, the assumption here is that what's going to happen is that he's going to train until he can, confess to her, and there'll be incompatibility. But I kind of wonder if he'll come to her with the claim, hey, I will get to that point. Please wait for me. I wonder if he might actually request that she hold off. Because again, when she goes out there to that floor with that dress on, oh my God. Again, in this world, there's not many outfits like this. This is going to get some attention. There's a lot of skin there that they don't typically show, and that's going to grab some attention right there. It is interesting that, the whole comment about the face stones and the jackets themselves, they talked a little bit about it in the post-credit screen, which is kind of interesting. This sort of armor that is worn underneath their clothes, their casual clothes, something apparently that Mine's going to have to wear whenever she goes to the academy, which would make sense. She's going to be amongst a lot of people. She's not going to be in her usual protected area. She's going to be in danger. Like, normally right now, she's typically in the castle or she's in the church. She's in safe locations. But when she goes to the academy, she's going to have all these other individuals from different regions that are going to be there. And yes, some people might want to see the downfall of them. And so she's going to need some sort of protection whenever the guards are like, not in immediate proximity of her. But yeah, it was kind of funny that the fact that she assumes that it's going to be heavy. Like, she's going to have to wear like chainmail underneath her clothes. But it says it's created with one's own mana. It normally feels weightless. That's interesting. I guess the assumption there is that you're using your own mana to infuse into the face stones that are like a part of the armor itself, and thus, because it's your own mana, there's a weightlessness there. Like, it kind of fuses with your own like body so that it doesn't really feel like there's a weight to it. Very interesting concept there, but a little extra lore to equipment at least. But what else do they have in this episode? Oh, the foundation thing. That was interesting. Yeah, at some point we find out that Mine has to go back to the castle, that Sylvester's going to be off on this, like, meeting with all the different archdukes. And while he's gone, he needs Mine and Wilfred to manage the mana that's going into the foundation. They have to go into this replenishment hall, and they have to put their mana into it, do this prayer, put their mana into it, and that takes it to the foundation. They don't have immediate access to the foundation, but they have access to at least the location where the mana goes into. Whereas that still, even to my brain, is kind of sort of a sign that something is going to happen in the future. That yes, they have access to this hall, and they only have access to the hall. They don't have access to the foundation. If they had access to the foundation, they could essentially destroy the area. I'm assuming what this whole thing is, the foundation itself. My assumption is, because I don't remember them actually talking about this before, my assumption is that this is sort of the basis to protect the entirety of Ehrenfest. That every single one of these different locations has a foundation, and that foundation is managed by the Archduke, and the Archduke on a regular basis has to pour mana into it and do a prayer to protect the entire area. Now that he's going to be gone, because they're having a mana shortage, that Mine and Wilfred have to keep putting mana into this thing, which that's a discussion in itself. With Mine and Wilfred, doing the upkeep, that's going to keep the area protected. Whereas if they weren't, there's a possibility of monsters getting in there or other kingdoms, invading or something like that. Maybe it's sort of like a physical barrier that keeps people out from coming inside. Again, similar to what Mine did with the monastery. She put a protective barrier on it that anybody that is, wants to cause harm to people inside can't get inside. So this is probably the same thing. The foundation is keeping people that want to harm the kingdom from getting inside. But anyways, interesting that, yes, at some point Wilfred mentioned the fact that there is a shortage of mana. I think I recall them talking about some sort of shortage of mana, but that's more interesting, the fact that there's a difficulty here because Mine's going around sprinkling mana all over the damn place. Why wouldn't she come here and go directly? I guess the idea here is because there's such a shortage of mana overall, the foundation needs more than usual, question mark. But it's still, again, it goes back to the idea of like, well, why wouldn't Mine be coming here on a regular basis? It seems like she has a plethora of mana, but again, I guess it's all of her duties that she's doing, and this is something that they didn't really want her involved with quite yet. But I don't know. We'll see. But it is really, again, one of those eye-opening moments for Wilfred about the fact that he about passes out when they do the prayer, but Mine's over here like, I do this all the time. Sylvester's like, I expect you to be the first one to collapse. She's like, no, I do this all the damn time. Ferdinand over here has me pouring into these damn cups all the damn time. I got plenty to spare. What do you want to go to second round? Let's go second round. Yeah, that whole thing with the actual foundation, again, is very interesting. Again, I kind of curious if I forgot something from the past where they talked about it. But again, I assume it's going to be like the monastery. I'm going to assume it's going to be just like that. It's just a bigger version of it. Something that protects an entire land, which is pretty damn crazy. And yeah, I'm kind of seeing that this is sort of opening the door to a possibility at some point this is going to get destroyed. There ain't no doubt in my mind that at some point in the story, this thing will be destroyed. This foundation is going to get attacked and it's going to be destroyed. And I kind of wonder if there's a possibility that through that chamber, you could attack the foundation. Like potentially giving it improper manner or something like that. That would be my assumption on how it ends up being attacked. Anyways, other than that, what else did we have? We had the printing press was ready. So she got there and got that done. She's super excited about it. Wants to make another one. I like the fact they keep pointing out the fact that, okay, well, she got this thing, so she's done right. She got this thing, so it's going to be done right. We're not going to expand anymore, right? No, we're going to keep expanding. Like, constantly, there's people going, oh, you're still expanding. Oh, you're giving me more work. Oh, Benno's over here getting pissed off, but he doesn't want to admit that he's overworked. She's like, well, I can give it to somebody else. No, don't give it to anybody else. People are going to think that you're going somewhere else and that you've given up on us. Don't go anywhere else. We find out at the very end that he wants to actually break off the actual book business and make it independent. Which, the curious thing with that whole scene, and it could just be where it's placed at in the story, kind of throws me off here. It's odd that Lutz comes there to mention that Mine is going to be, taking care of the castle for a while, and immediately Benno goes, call for that meeting. We need to call for this meeting so that we can make the book business independent. That all these different merchants are complaining, we need to make this independent. Why does he do it now? That's the question mark there. I know that he's bringing up the meeting. It could be that he knows that Mine's going to be stuck there, and she's not stuck there quite yet. She could be there, and they're talking about how she's going to be there all summer, and the Archduke, Sylvester, has not left yet, and he wants to have the meeting now so they can break off. That could be what they're doing there, but it kind of made it sound like, okay, now that she's busy, let's have a meeting. Let's have the meeting now so that she can't complain about this. She wouldn't care. Like, if Benno said, hey, I need to break off the company, make it independent, she'd be like, okay, sure, what do you need me to do? Do you need me to sign a paper or something like that? You know what you're doing. She's always given Benno sort of the free reins to take care of this stuff and, advance it. It's a lot of stuff that he's handling that's doing it for her. Like, Mine could have easily made this business go independent before and took full ownership of it. But she's made this contract with Benno. Physically, she made the contract, but she's made a contract with Benno, and she wants him to handle it. This guy knows what he's doing. He's trustworthy, all that kind of stuff. But that was, again, kind of interesting. Not that I really think they should care. Like, these other companies are being mad. Who cares? Technically, yes, you do sort of want to have a positive relationship with a lot of these other merchants. You don't want to constantly have them trying to look for a way to backstab you or cause you problems, attack your merchants, anybody that's working under your employees and whatnot. You don't want some sort of like negativity around other people. You want to keep a positive decorum there, but still. Speaking of decorum, I love when they bring up the fact the press is done, she immediately goes to jump up excitement. Fran has to constantly be there to stop her. I love Fran and Mine's relationship. He's just such a good dude. Like, he's constantly just trying to keep her in check. Like, no, don't stand up and jump around like crazy. Calm down. Just like telling the two of them, you got to keep yourself calm down. Keeping everybody in check. Oh yeah, the last thing we have here is, of course, the letter to the former bishop. The letter from the one that was writing the love letters. Again, I don't think those are love letters. I think they were just like a factor of like familiarity, but I could be wrong. Well, we'll find out later on when we find out exactly who it's from. Again, I'm assuming it's from the mother. And again, since they're related, it's probably more of just a familiarity because it's a sister. And so she's, talking very familiar with him. But anyways, that aside, the letter itself, I wish it wasn't being so vague here because it's not telling us what's in the letter, but it's implying that it's very important. She says it's a letter from the love letter writer, and it says, I have something that I must ask of you, and you're the only one that I can rely on. And then she goes to reply to say that the bishop's dead, and it immediately turns into a bird and flies off. So it's a magical tool that turns into a bird and flies off. She said in the reply that she's going to check with the priest, or Ferdinand. Going to check with him if it's something that she can help with, I'm guessing. Because again, it just says that it's something I need to rely on you for. You're the only one I can ask for. So again, I hate the fact that it's being very vague here, but it doesn't seem like it's something that Mine herself, right now at least, is concerned with or knows what's going on. So that's probably why it's being so vague there, is that she just doesn't understand the importance of whatever it is. You would think that with her bringing it up to Ferdinand would tell us the importance of it. But either way, she says that the dude's dead, sends it off, and then goes to Ferdinand, and she's concerned because she's wondering if she's talking too much about the situation. Which, I don't think they ever implied this before. That yes, I knew they had the gag order on what's happening with the mother. That yes, she was involved in this whole thing, and they, locked her up, and they don't want anybody talking about what happened there. Because they don't want people that are involved with her to sort of take it as an opportunity or to use that information to their own benefit or to avoid, accountability because of what happened. But yeah, he's like, no, the whole thing with the former high bishop, yeah, his punishment, all that kind of stuff, we don't care. You could tell them whatever else. He's dead. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. You can cover that. The only thing they're really concerned about is the Archduke's mother. That's really the only thing they're kind of concerned about. Which again, I kind of assumed that was the case because they were perfectly fine with telling the mayor. Which again, that was her working on her own, and she could have again goofed up by telling the mayor that he was dead, even though he took it completely wrong. Thought that he retired. Again, we'll see what's going on with that letter. For now, it just seems like it wants to be vague about it, which is shrug. They did that with the last time, too. I think when they were showing the letters last time, again, I think it's because she just doesn't know the importance of it, and it's probably going to be very important. Again, I'm assuming it's probably going to end up being the Archduke's mother, that she's trying to contact the bishop. It's not love letters. It could be wrote in a way that sounds like love letters so that they don't know who it is. That's true. I didn't think about that. Those letters could be purposely wrote like love letters so that people think that it's a former lover or something like that, and that there would be no chance they would ever assume that it would be the mother. Because it's the sister. Why would she write something like that? That could be, and it could be code in general. In general, it could just be code. But we'll see. But yeah, that's pretty much the episode. They did have the whole situation with Hugo becoming a chef of personal chef of mine. I was going to say the castle. He chose not to do that. That was, really cool. Cool for him and all that kind of stuff. Again, the idea that he wants to get away from his ex-girlfriend. Like, dude is going above and beyond to get the hell out of there. He's like, I gotta get away from this woman. That's some good stuff. But yeah, I think that's pretty much the episode. Some good stuff. Really enjoyed it. But anyways, that's my thoughts on it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, until next time, take care.